Howdy. Recording from a different venue once again. This is actually my bedroom. And what you see behind me, the mirror there, the whole headboard looks like Star Trek, which is why I bought it in the first place. Because I'm just goofy like that. Anyway, I have a second channel, and a lot of times I talk about leadership and diversity over there, but I also talk about business over there. And it's interesting because I've never talked about business here. So I thought that I would give 5 tips if you decided you wanted to go into business for yourself. 5 tips of things you should think about. And not everything I'm going to talk about is traditional with what everyone else talks about because, if I was going to say the same thing everyone else says, I would just say, okay, go watch someone else. So this is my version. So the first thing you need to do is you don't necessarily need to know everything about what it is you want to do, although that always works best. But what you need to do is have a second thing in mind that you can do to make money. Reason I say that is because a lot of times we get into something like this and we think, man, I'm always going to be busy. I'm never going to have any time off. And the reality is now you have to market yourself. And sometimes in certain fields, it takes a long time before you can get a gig. And you can go work a part-time job if you want to. You can't work a second, full-time job. If you're looking to just go totally independent, you can go part-time. Or you can decide there's other things I can do that I can make money off of. So for instance, I'm a healthcare finance consultant and I also do leadership, diversity training. But it takes a while to sometimes land those contracts. So for a while there, I used to build websites before templates became a big thing. I used to do SEO work. I still do budgeting for people. I help them to set their budgets, figure out where their money is, put them on a budget so that they can bring down their debt and increase their cash or whatever. And I write. I have written for a lot of places over the years, and I used to make pretty good money off of that. I had to start off slow, but then once I got going, I made a lot of money off of that. So you need to have something to back you up if your main thing takes a little longer. Of course, I hope you're charging enough with your main thing because that's number 2. You can't just charge job money. When I first decided I was going to work for myself, the first gig I got, I charged $25 an hour plus a percentage of whatever income I was able to generate for my client. The thing is that $25 an hour was less money than I was making when I was an employee. I hadn't really thought about it at that time. And you have to cover a whole lot. You have to cover your bills. You have to cover your insurance. You have to cover your, healthcare, everything that you didn't have to necessarily worry about at the same rate that you did when you were an employee. So really, you need to make sure you're charging your worth, your expenses, and just to have that little extra. Because like in my industry, I could get a gig that would last 3 months. Well, I can't now because I got to be home with my mother, but I could get a gig that lasted 3 months and then maybe not get another gig for another 6 months. So I would need to make my money last. How do you make your money last? You charge more. And hopefully you're in a field where you can get paid more money and stash money away to get you through those times. So that was number 2. Number 3, you have to be willing to let go of things that maybe you can do, but you don't want to do, or you don't do them well. One of the biggest things I did, this is something that a lot of people wouldn't think of, is I pay someone else to cut my grass and to shovel the snow. Plow service handles the snow. I actually like going out and shoveling snow. But in my area, sometimes we got snow a lot. And I just don't want to keep taking time away to go out there and do that. The lawn is a different animal. I don't like being outside. I don't like being near the grass. It turned out I was allergic to cut grass, and I don't like bugs. But I would put all this stuff on and go out there and do it, and I got a big yard. It would take 2.5 to 3 hours to do that. Nah. Got someone else to do it. I pay, every time they come. Right now I pay $25, but he's going to be leaving soon, so I'm going to have to pay more. But you know what? It's worth it for me to let someone else handle that 2.5 to 3 hours of cutting that I really just don't want to do. I also have an accountant. That turned out to be a smart move, and if you're going into business for yourself, you might want to think about that. because I'm pretty good financially, but the truth is, when it came to taxes, I totally messed up. You know what? Since I just tell it like it is, I had 2 years back in the mid 2000s where I made close to $400,000 total, not each year, but total. And I paid taxes. I paid a bunch of taxes, but it turned out I was supposed to pay way more because I was in a totally different tax bracket than I thought I was. So I had to get an accountant to kind of help me through some of these things because there was just no way. Now, I haven't had a couple of years like that in the longest time, but it helped to have an accountant who kept an eye on things and would sometimes say, you may want to make a tax payment early, or just whatever. And I don't have to put everything in order. Every year, I just bind everything together and I send it to her or drop it off there, and they handle everything. So think about stuff like that. I haven't thought much about using a virtual assistant for too many things, but it's something I've been thinking about for a while. Number 4, remember that now you are a career person. You are not working at an office, which means don't go out and buy all the stuff that you used to use at your office. Don't go out and buy tons of pens, tons of pencils, tons of paper, tons of paper clips. Don't get caught doing that. I did that. I bought the big packs. So I still have like 8 packs of paper clips. And I bought these things back in 2001. I still have 7 packs of staples that I bought back in 2001. I have pencils that I've never used because, I work for myself. I don't want to use a pencil. Most of the time, I don't use pencils. So I just have all this stuff still sitting here all these years later because that's what I had at my desk. And I didn't have to get it all. I would just, have one at a time. But when you're buying for yourself, you think, I'll buy it in bulk. I'll go through it. No, you won't. That's number 4. Here's number 5. Number 5, find some people that you can talk to, whether it's in person, whether it's on the phone, or whether it's email, social media, whatever, who are in business. They don't have to be in the same business you are, but find some people who are in business for themselves, small business, that you can talk to from time to time, because you know what? This is a totally lonely business when you work for yourself. It just is. And if you spend too much time in your own head, sometimes you start making bad decisions or you just start going crazy. So I was lucky to find a consultants group in my area. We meet once a month. That works out kind of nicely. I met some other people online, some on LinkedIn, some in other places that I can talk to from time to time, and they can reach out to me. And it works out well to have someone else to bounce things off of. If you have co-working spaces in your area, that's something you might want to explore. Out here, for instance, I think that they have like the big co-office spaces downtown. It's $100 a month and it's free Wi-Fi. And you have your own little space. You can pay for a specific space, or you just have a space, put your laptop down and you work there. But you can talk to other people and you can bounce ideas off each other, even if they're not in your industry. It's something to consider. There you go. 5 quick business tips. I talk about these things on my other channel all the time. If this is something that you'd like me to talk about here more often, I will do that. Y'all let me know. My name is Mitch Mitchell. If you like this video, please like it. Think about subscribing. And what's that other thing? Oh, click that bell. I never remember. Okay, y'all take care.